So the next question says, how does demand pull inflation differ from cost push inflation? So again, on the ADAS graph, right, we know that price going up is what inflation looks like. So any change that drives up the equilibrium price from this equilibrium over here is going to be referred to as inflation. And so we have two ways this can happen. Demand pull inflation is basically saying a change in demand is the reason we see inflation. And so if we're doing with the demand curve, we want price to go up. It's going to be a rightward shift in aggregate demand. So aggregate demand is overshooting aggregate supply in the short run, and so we're moving away from this long run aggregate supply equilibrium. We have a higher price over here, and that's what we see as demand pull inflation, right? The price is being pulled up. Cost push inflation is saying that costs for inputs has gone up for suppliers, and therefore they're able to produce less goods. And so this is going to be a supply side inflation, and that's going to be a decrease in supply in this direction, right? And so if we want supply to decrease, it'll look like, oh, that's terrible. This is what it's going to look like, and we see that there's also this price change over here, an increase in prices due to a shift in aggregate supply. And so that's what we see as the new type of inflation as a result of costs going up. And so let's take a look at the previous tutor's answers to see if they break this down kind of well. Previous tutor says that demand pull inflation is an economic situation which rises of a rise in the general price level in an economy where aggregate demand exceeds aggregate supply at the full level of employment, right? So that's what we see with this rightward shift of AD. On the other hand, cost push inflation is an economic situation where a rise in the general price level in the economy due to an increase in the price of factor inputs, so increasing cost of production, results in a low level of aggregate supply in the economy at the full level of employment. And so that's what we see as a leftward shift in supply. So this is great, good answer, and we're going to verify that as correct.